Hello, my name is John Broad. I am the Senior Director of SAP's Global Technology Partner Organization, responsible for our activities with Microsoft. We want to thank Microsoft for the opportunity to speak as one of Microsoft's long-term partners and a diamond sponsor of the SQL Server launch. Thank you for attending the Mission Critical session. Mission Critical Confidence. What does that mean for companies running their enterprise resource planning on SAP? ERP systems are the central nervous system of organizations. They track and coordinate vital operational support. They move products, place orders, assist in decision-making, track projects, and support numerous industry-specific needs. By their very nature, they are mission-critical. But most organizations have their ERP environments well established and under control. The current challenge is the optimization and management of these environments, lowering costs, improving reliability, and for many companies, scaling for system growth. As companies approach inflection points in their ERP lifecycle, whether it's the need for a hardware refresh, a significant capacity increase, or a merger-driven database consolidation, they often reevaluate their hardware and database choices. SAP and Microsoft enjoy a strong partnership with one unified goal: create customer value. Microsoft and SAP have been working closely together for more than 20 years to ensure that the Microsoft platform and SAP solutions work well together. SAP certification of Microsoft SQL Server is the technical stamp of approval of the joint work between Microsoft and SAP. Worldwide, the number of developers proficient in these technologies and the number of organizations adopting SQL Server for SAP continues to grow. SAP on SQL Server is a proven, scalable, highly performing, and highly available solution that is widely deployed today. Thousands of companies around the world representing over 35,000 installations, many with multi-terabyte databases, depend on these SAP and Microsoft solutions to effectively run their businesses. SQL Server has been optimized to work within SAP landscapes with DBA cockpit integration for performance monitoring and administration, live migration, online indexing, and database mirroring, to name just a few capabilities. In today's ever-changing world of business, the fundamental goals of business units and their IT organizations are not always in alignment. For business units, the priority is responding to variable market conditions while driving continued growth. Meanwhile, SAP has the task of managing system cost and complexity and ensuring that their business systems can be maintained efficiently while remaining secure. They are looking for high availability, performance, scalability, and security, and all of this with a lower, more predictable cost model. By running SAP on Microsoft SQL Server, unplanned downtime can be reduced by over 20%, and ongoing support costs can be reduced by up to 85%. Migration is simplified by using tools, best practices, and SAP migration certified specialists. Quantifiable results can emerge in a matter of months, with an ongoing annual savings potential approaching 40%. While the goals are clear, the process to achieve the desired result may not be as distinct. So let's look first at how one organization is achieving their mission-critical objectives with SAP and Microsoft SQL Server. Mitsui Trading Company, the largest trading company in Japan, employs over 40,000 people and has annual revenues exceeding $100 billion US. They run their mission-critical logistics systems on SAP and Microsoft SQL Server. With over 6,000 named users, they rely on database mirroring, clustering, and compression for high availability, performance, scalability, and risk compliance. As Mitsui faced impending power reductions in Tokyo, they needed a solution that would provide failover and disaster recovery without compromising high availability and performance. Since Mitsui's global SAP implementation is deployed across many offices worldwide, their big challenge was to avoid these eventual power reductions which could affect their Tokyo site by running images of their productive SAP databases at a site in Hong Kong. Through a combination of database compression, synchronous mirroring to a failover data center in Hong Kong, and asynchronous database mirroring back to Tokyo, Mitsui can be fully operational within 60 minutes, even during power reductions or outages. Now let's take a deeper look at how Microsoft SQL Server works with SAP to deliver the latest mission-critical competence. The data explosion is happening at every level across every imaginable device, application, and individual. Maximum uptime, data availability, and level of compliance are simply expected. The next wave of SQL Server investments further help protect an organization's infrastructure, delivering the nines in performance at the right price. SAP customers are running applications on SQL Server with multi-terabyte databases, some as large as 20 terabytes, with more than 5 nines availability. That's essential for mission critical. Availability of 99.999% has been possible with earlier releases of SQL Server like SQL Server 2008 R2. However, the advancement with SQL Server 2012 is the fact that the functionality necessary to achieve this high degree of availability now resides within a single framework. Easy to use, monitor, and administer. Scenarios which previously required more expensive investments in storage and network infrastructure can now be fulfilled with SQL Server's always-on functionality. This does not require additional investments into additional functionality such as storage replication. With the availability of SQL Server 2012, SAP customers like Mitsui will achieve maximum application availability and data protection using SQL Server Always On. This functionality helps reduce planned and unplanned downtime and optimizes IT processes with newly integrated high availability and data protection. Integrated configuration and monitoring tools simplify deployment and management of high availability and disaster recovery requirements. Active Secondary eliminates idle hardware and improves IT cost efficiency and performance. And Windows Server Core reduces the planned downtime as well. From the outset, SQL Server has placed a large emphasis on online management of databases. As many as 15 years ago, SQL Server was enabling SAP customers with industry-leading capabilities, such as being able to change memory allocations for all caches online, or even to change memory allocated for SQL Server overall online. Further improvements were made in subsequent releases of SQL Server, such as being able to allocate or deallocate processor resources online. And other functionalities, such as online database defragmentation, was delivered some 12 years ago, while online index maintenance was delivered 7 years ago. Today, SQL Server 2012 offers major improvements in the space of online schema changes and improved online index maintenance so that all tables in an SAP schema can benefit from online index management without service interruption or any need to reconnect the application. SQL Server supports the most common and highly scaling industry standard servers. Based on tremendous progress in processor development and server architecture, the throughput capabilities of industry standard commodity servers has increased by a factor of 10 during the past 7 years, an increase driven largely by the hardware architecture of Intel Xeon and AMD Opteron. As these new hardware architectures moved into multi-core architectures, the Windows and SQL Server platform has adapted by increasing its scalability and supporting to these many core servers in order to stay ahead of market demands. This provides SAP customers the ability to scale their existing hardware and software investments as their businesses grow. New SQL Server releases are optimized during the development as a result of the rigorous testing of SQL Server under SAP workloads of all types. Even more important is the testing Microsoft executes against its own production version of their SAP ERP system. This stringent two-fold optimization approach means SAP customers don't need to change any configurations of SQL Server from the default delivered settings in order to work optimally with their SAP workload. Another important focus of SQL Server 2012 was the implementation of a column store into the RDBMS engine. The implementation approach makes column store initially transparent so customers aren't required to determine whether their data needs to be stored in row or column format. But SQL Server 2012 now actually allows for both row and column data storage formats in parallel. This, combined with the enhanced query processing features, improves data warehouse query performance by hundreds to thousands of times in some cases, and routinely provides a tenfold acceleration for a broad range of decision support queries, making column store very beneficial for applications like SAP Business Warehouse. SQL Server database compression, as delivered in earlier releases of SQL Server and as part of SQL Server 2012, consistently demonstrates large compression rates with extremely small overhead for SAP data. Fully integrated into SAP products, SQL Server database compression can be used for all data and index types that SAP supports, significantly reducing disk storage and the associated costs thereto. For example, customers compressing general ledger tables in SAP ERP that have achieved table size reductions ranging from 85 to 90%. The resulting acceleration of transactions and the low overhead has become the impetus for SAP customers to leverage SQL Server's page compression for all data and indices. Compression provides improved query performance in I/O bottleneck scenarios and reduces hardware requirements and operational costs for storage and backup infrastructure. SAP customer demand for backup compression is increasing. Motivation for most of the customers asking for this feature is the fact that backups should be kept on disk and/or that such backups should be transferred to centralized backup infrastructures. With SQL Server, SAP customers can compress any kind of SQL Server backup. SQL Server provides transparent data encryption, which extends the scope of encryption to the whole database. The encryption itself is transparent to SAP, since accessing or not accessing an encrypted database is a SQL Server instance. This means that once a SQL Server instance opens an encrypted database, the application can access the data, which can be fully leveraged for indexing and index searches. And backing up an encrypted database will automatically provide an encrypted backup. Transparent data encryption and SSL can be used in conjunction. Customers in the defense, security, public safety, government, and financial services industries sometimes require additional protection from man-in-the-middle and other related security threats. SQL Server transparently encrypts the communication channel between SQL Server and SAP using SSL. Government and independent security institutions tracking security vulnerabilities list SQL Server with the lowest number of vulnerabilities, numbers which are factors lower than even the closest competitors. This provides even the most security-conscious SAP customers with the mission-critical confidence they need. In order to meet even the most stringent compliance demands, SQL Server 2012 delivers several improvements in the SQL Server auditing framework. Improvements specifically implemented for SAP customers in order to audit the database activities for all users except the SAP application. With this improved functionality, the database activities resulting from work administrators or other users of the SAP database can be precisely traced and appear in an audit trail. But delivering great technology solutions independently isn't enough. Solutions must be more collaborative, innovative, cost-effective, and reliable. As a result, SAP and Microsoft have development centers co-staffed and co-managed in both Waldorf, Germany, and Redmond, Washington. Additionally, the Microsoft SAP Migration Center is located in Microsoft's main Redmond, Washington campus. It was established by Microsoft, SAP, and EMC to provide a proof of concept lab for SAP customers considering a migration to a SQL Server database. It provides the focused expertise and resources to successfully and predictably demonstrate the capabilities of SQL Server on an EMC storage infrastructure. 100% dedicated to supporting SAP migration opportunities, the facility can host POCs in upwards of 20 terabytes. SAP and Microsoft look to offer a more transparent view of the solutions and enhance customer satisfaction with the assurance that both technology leaders are working closely together. Collaboratively tuned with SAP engineers to ensure maximum performance and interoperability, SQL Server allows SAP customers to scale up hardware for tremendous growth using industry-standard servers. Customers clearly benefit from solutions that are not only more innovative and cost-effective, but are also more closely aligned with their business needs. Ultimately, these customers realize a greater return on their investments and lower total cost of ownership on their Microsoft and SAP solutions. They are able to more effectively leverage the technology investments they have made and enhance those investments more efficiently in the future. The general cooperation between Microsoft and SAP extends even beyond the DBMS to the Windows operating system. For emerging capabilities, including virtualization and cloud, we are working closely together. With this ability to address current technology issues more efficiently and the continued development of joint solutions in the future, SAP and Microsoft help positively position customers to approach new business challenges with greater confidence. Thank you very much.